okay, so this was like 3 months ago, or maybe like 2.5 months ago. But anyway, I was sitting there at the bookstore, and my sister was like, "Oh, you know what was weird?" And then she told me about this story. Well, okay, see, there's this guy that we know, and like I say, this was about 3 months ago, and I texted him and I said my sister was pregnant, but I was just joking around. And then, and this was, like I said, this was about, it was about 3 months ago when, I texted him that, and then it was like 2 days after that, my sister had this experience at midnight at Walmart. So it was about 3 months ago, but my sister didn't tell me about it till like a couple weeks ago when we were sitting there at the bookstore. And I don't know, it just, something dawned on her to tell me about it. And I can't remember what we were talking about, but she's like, "Oh, you know what was really weird? Remember how you texted you know who and said I was pregnant?" Well, 2 days after that, I was at Walmart at midnight, and she was in the makeup department, and this is like midnight, because my sister, she doesn't have a job right now, so we're all pretty much night owls, except I can't really be since I have a job, a day job, which I hate. But anyway, okay, so anyway, she was standing there at the makeup department, and she told me a bunch of other things too, but I didn't write I didn't like write everything down. But I remember enough. And then I asked her some questions again, and then I hurried up and wrote some stuff down. But she's not really attuned to this alien stuff. So I don't really want to like text her. I almost was going to yesterday and tell her to text me back and text me everything that he said or whatever. But I don't know if she would have cooperated anyway. And I don't know if she would answer me back very fast or whatever. So anyway, I finally wrote some stuff down when I was at my mom's house last week, when we were all at my mom's house, and then I started asking her some questions again. So then I wrote a bunch of things down, but she told me more than this. I just can't, when we were at the bookstore, I just can't remember everything she said. I didn't write down everything. But the thing is that funny how she didn't make that connection that aliens, they do like to pose as homeless people. I don't know if it was a reptilian that was posing for her, but I know all of my experiences, they have all been reptilians posing in human form, except for maybe one time, and I'm not sure if that was or not, but that could have been another species. But that was back when I was 10 years old, and I haven't talked about that one yet. And he also was posing as like a 70-year-old ratty homeless looking dude, and that was when I was 10 years old, out in front of Montgomery Ward's when it was almost dusk time. And I haven't talked about that experience. But, yeah, but my sister didn't put that, she didn't really think about, how, when she was there with me with Anthony 4 times at the bookstore, when he manifested 4 times at the bookstore, he also was posing as a homeless man. And then my sister has this experience with the homeless man, but she doesn't put 2 and 2 together. That could have been Anthony in a different form. But who knows? Because they can masquerade as anything. These reptilians can. Of course, they gave her different information, that they do me. But, so anyway, I know, a few years ago or whatever, my sister said that she said that her and her boyfriend thought about maybe adopting a kid or something, but I know that's probably never going to happen. And they don't get along worth a crap anyway. So I know they're never probably going to get married, but they've been together since like 2005, off and on. But I don't really think they're together anymore. I think they're just kind of friends. So anyway, so I know they're never going to get married because they're both too independent. Okay, so anyway, so my sister said this. So see, my sister, I mean, she just thinks it was a real physical, you know, human of this dimension. But I know that he wasn't. Because my sister, you know, she's not attuned to that crap. You know, just like Anthony, the alien, the interdimensional alien, you know, she just looks at him as, even though he just poof, disappeared in front of our faces, she just looks at him as, she just thinks he really was a homeless man. But he wasn't. He was an alien. So anyway, so my sister's funny how she didn't put that together, you know, two and two together with the homeless man, because that's a characteristic that they also like to pose as, or they also like to kind of pose as, well, they make you believe that they're like some kind of zombie or something. But anyway, so anyway, apparently he just manifested right there, you know, near her, and he started talking to her. My sister said he was 70 years old and he had ratty clothes on, and that he did actually tell her that he was a homeless man. And he also told her that, well, at first my sister said he started saying stuff like, you need to have children, they're the most important thing in a woman's life. And it's like, why would it, I mean, to me that's kind of evil, you know, because having kids is kind of evil, you know. That's like slave matrix stuff. But I'm sure the alien probably didn't mean anything evil about it. But, you know, if the alien's telling you to be a breeder, that's kind of evil in my eyes, because that's telling the person to bring more beings into the matrix, into the screwed up slave matrix, you know, that we live in or whatever. But anyway, I could see, one of them would never tell me that, but I guess I could see them telling her that, you know. But anyway, so I don't know if she maybe had some thoughts on the brain recently about babies or something. I don't know, because that's possible too. But, yeah, so anyway, it's just that my sister put two and two together, that after I texted that guy a few months ago, I said my sister was pregnant, but I was just joking around. I don't think he believed me anyway. And then it was like 2 days after that my, you know, 2 weeks ago, my sister was like, oh, you know what was weird? Remember how you texted that one guy that I was pregnant? Well, 2 days after that, this homeless man, I had this weird encounter with this homeless man at Wal-Mart. And anyway, okay, so, yeah, so he was telling her that children are the most important thing, wonderful thing in a woman's life. And he also told her that he did not want to be, I guess my sister also started asking him questions. I know she did ask him a few questions. And she asked him where he lives. And he said that he lived everywhere. That's a red flag right there, that was an alien. Even in movies, like even in that Storm of the Century, that reptilian, he said that he was everywhere. Because they are everywhere. You know, like if I'm here, then Joel can come to me here, you know, tonight or whatever. Tomorrow night, if I'm in England, then he can just bam, come to me in England. You know? So he did tell her that he lived everywhere. And he also told her that he did not, I think my sister, like I said, started asking him some questions. And then he also told her that he did not want to be bound by the materialism of man. So see, that's proof right there that he was an interdimensional alien. And, okay, so he was 70 years old. He had ratty ass clothes on. He was homeless. Okay, and then my sister said that he also told her that something about, after he told her about that she should have children and all that, he says that, he tells her that your light glows from within you. Okay, and like I said, this was at midnight. Because they don't care what time. I mean, if they want you to have an experience, they don't care what day, what month, you know, what the temperature is outside. Well, actually, I take that back. Well, actually, you know, that's another red flag, matter of fact. These beings, when they manifest in physical form, sometimes, I guess if they're reptilian, sometimes they can't handle the sun, even when they manifest in physical form. So anyway, so yeah, that's another red flag right there. It was dark outside because Anthony always appeared when it was rainy, dark outside, or dusk, or cloudy. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. All those other experiences I had, yeah, with the aliens, all the other times they were either indoors or, let's see, I'd have to think about all those experiences. Yeah, it was indoors or it was cloudy, it was fall time or cloudy outside or dusk, late in the evening. So yeah, for some reason, they can't handle the sun, at least reptilians can't, not when they manifest in physical form. In their own dimension, well actually in their own dimension, it does seem like there is no sun whatsoever in their own dimension. All the dimensions they took me to, I mean when they took me to their realm, yeah, it was always like dark, like a cave. Yeah, it's never been sunny ever. But it's just kind of weird. I mean, you'd think if they could, once they manifest in physical form, I mean, in this dimension, you'd think they would still be able to handle the sun. So I don't understand that. Because when I'm out of body, if they wanted to throw the sun over me and put me in virtual reality and put the sun over me, I would be able to handle it. So see, that I don't understand at all. You have to know science or something about that, or physics or something. But anyway, so, and I know my sister said a bunch of other things because she sat there for at least 15 minutes and was telling us all these things, me and that man. And that was, you know, at the bookstore, that was the man several months ago where I told him that my sister was pregnant. And then several months later, all three of us were sitting there. And she's like, oh, you know what was weird? And that's when she told me and the man about this experience. But my sister thinks that this just was a normal person that really was homeless. You know, because she doesn't understand the alien stuff and their abilities. But anyway, I know of a bunch of other people that's had these same encounters. Now, I don't know if they were reptilians or not, and in this case I don't know if this was a reptilian or some other species because I wasn't there, and if it was an encounter for me, you know, I would know, and he would have said different things to me or whatever. But yeah, that's funny. I don't know why. I mean, my sister would have had a kid by now if she was going to have a kid, you know. So in a way, that's kind of evil, though, to tell somebody they should have kids. Of course, if she adopted, that's a different story because the kid is already in this dimension. But yeah, it's kind of evil to have kids, you know, because you're putting them through hell, making them come to this dimension. But anyway, so yeah, there was this other experience this woman told me about. Same situation, like a 70-year-old with jeans on and like a white t-shirt, and he looked 70 years old. He manifested to her at H-E-B grocery store, and he told her, you know, you'll be okay in the near future, because he knew that she was about to go through some bad stuff in the very near future. So he told her everything was going to be okay. And then she wanted to try to go tell him, you know, thank you, and he was nowhere to be found. So he just went poof. And that was a Hispanic woman that told me that story back in 2007. And yeah, so that was kind of interesting. She knew it was something spiritual. But yeah, my point is, there's nothing really spiritual about a lot of these beings, because, well, especially reptilians and other kind of beings, because if they were spiritual, they would say something like, oh, I know you miss your grandma is okay. And you know what I'm saying? So a lot of these, but there are some angelic, you know, beings that aren't spirits. But I mean, like a lot of these reptilians and stuff, there's nothing really spiritual about them, but there's nothing spiritual about humans either. So, yeah, so anyway, like I said, this isn't the first time a reptilian has posed as a homeless man. One sat on my bed back in 2004 with a hobo backpack on. And at the time, I thought it was Danley, which at the time I had already met my spirit guide. I knew what she looked like and everything, and I knew she had two friends, spirit friends named Danley and Mabe, and I saw glimpses of them because Mabe was always saying that he was messing around in an SUV. And so I had glimpses of that, of him opening up his door in his SUV. I had glimpses of that. And see, now I'm thinking that's all. I know my spirit guide is real. She's ancient Egyptian, but I still think she's a reptilian. But in this life, when she was in 3D, she was an ancient Egyptian. And she's beautiful. But anyway, I think she's a reptilian. But anyway, I think it's the reptilians, you know, giving me those images. I don't really think Danley and Mabe are really spirits, but they could be. But anyway, so Danley is a hobo, and I thought it was him manifesting on my bed when it really was a reptilian posing as Danley.